Hello, welcome back. I want to talk about some more books, but this time I'm going to talk about my spring reads, which is April to May. I think next year I'm going to do it March, April, May, and have that be spring, but this is how it just worked out this time. I did not read a whole lot this season. Life got really busy, but also not a whole lot of books really hit it for me this time. It does be like that sometimes, and it was like that this time. So this list is not super long, so let's get into it. The first book that I read this season was The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I think in my winter reads I said Sanders, and that is not right. But this is a fantasy mystery novel, and I rated it a 4 stars. Trigger warnings for this book: it does have violence and unaliving. This book, in one sentence, though, I would say Mistborn meets Sherlock Holmes. The Alloy of Law takes place 200 years after the Mistborn trilogy. We follow Waxillium, a twinborn, who is investigating the multiple kidnappings of Allomancy women, and he discovers a bigger and more devious plot that he must stop. Devious. Anyways, I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't my favorite, but I did really enjoy it. I liked being back in the Mistborn universe and learning a little bit more about the magic. I love his characters. I have discovered I think they're very witty and badass, and I feel like I can connect to them a little bit better and faster than some of the other authors that I've read before. So I think I'll keep reading his books because I really enjoy them so far. Next, please. The next book that I read was Wendy Darling. This is by A.C. Wise. This is a fantasy novel. I rated it a 3. Trigger warning for this book: it does have violence and unaliving and emotional abuse. This book, in one sentence: what happens after Neverland? This book takes place in 2 timelines. The current timeline, which is 1931, where Wendy attempts to save her daughter, who is taken by Peter. And 27 years earlier, after Wendy and her brothers return to London, we follow Wendy as she adjusts back to normal life and tries to forget about leaving Neverland. So I picked up this book originally only because I was really curious about it. I wanted to know more about the author's take on this story of Peter Pan, Neverland. I can say I wasn't disappointed. It was very happy in some parts, sad in some parts, kind of bland a little bit too. It wasn't the best thing I've ever read, but I don't regret reading it. So the next book that I read was Babel. I am very afraid I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. I'm going to try. I do apologize. R.F. Kuang. This is a historical fiction / fantasy book. I rated this book a 4. I didn't do one sentence for this book. I don't think I have one. Viva Revolution. Trigger warnings for this book: it does have violence, racism, and abuse. In this book, we follow Robin, who is a Chinese boy who is adopted by an Oxford professor after his mom passes away. He gets enrolled in Oxford Institute of Translation, where he learns about silver bars that make Britain the major powerhouse in this world. Robin finds himself in a moral dilemma of ethics between his homeland and this land that he wants so desperately to be a part of. It took me years to get through this book. I think like 2. And that's simply because I kept losing interest in it. It was very slow paced in the beginning, but once I got over that hump, I flew through it. I think this book really discussed important topics like being a minority, which I really loved, but I was super bummed by the ending. I was expecting more. I do have some pet peeves with this book. Mainly, I didn't like how we got one of the characters' point of views and then never again. It was only that one time. that was really frustrating. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. It was very memorable for sure. The next book that I read was The Black Holocaust by S.E. Anderson. This is a nonfiction history graphic novel. I rated this a 5. Trigger warnings for this book: it does have violence, racism, sexual assault, and lots of abuse. You should read this book. This book is an introduction to slavery and the history of the slave trade. What I enjoyed most about this book, it was the simplicity of it. It was broken down very well so that the average person could understand it very well. I liked all of the pictures. I liked the different fonts. It was very engaging the entire time. It was very triggering at some points. I did have to put it down and take a break. However, it was very informative, which I really enjoyed. With them doing different pictures and fonts and stuff in the book, some of the cursive was a little bit hard for me to read, but I also think I need new glasses, so that might be on me. Some of the things in this book were a refresher to me, but there was definitely a lot of things that I learned for the first time or learned more in depth. I think this book is a really important book. I'm really glad that I read it, and I would definitely recommend it. I think everyone should read it. It's a very important book about history. So the next book that I read was The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. I mispronounced that. I'm 90% sure. I'm sorry. This is a thriller suspense book. I rated this one a 3. Trigger warning for this book: it does have racism. This book, in one sentence, the power of a black girl's hair. In this book, we follow Nella, who is the only black girl at Wagner Books Publication, LLC, until one day, Hazel, another black girl, starts her employment at Wagner as well. Suspiciously, around the same time, Nella starts receiving notes threatening her to leave Wagner. We follow Nella as she figures out who wrote these notes and her next steps. My thoughts on this book: I felt like the author's main goal was to talk about what it was like to be a black woman in a workplace, which is a very good thing, but the only reason why I say that is because that was very well portrayed and very strongly portrayed, but the plot itself, especially after the climax where we're supposed to have our resolution, I felt was very lacking. Let's just say that the conclusion, there wasn't a conclusion though. I also felt that the plot twist was a little confusing. I didn't understand why that was the specific plot twist that it was. I think I still need to look into that because I feel like I'm missing something. Outside of that, the book was really good. I enjoyed just the representation of it more than anything. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Anyways, the next book that I read was Vampire Hunter D, the first book. I don't know how to pronounce this. I am not going to try. I don't want to be rude, so I'm just going to put it on the screen right here. This is a horror, science fiction, fantasy, dark fantasy thing. I gave this guy a 2. Trigger warning: it does have violence. Book, in one sentence, I would say Blade, but like not. The world of Vampire Hunter D takes place after the apocalypse, after the nuclear war, where vampires and other creatures are just running rampant. We follow D, a half vampire, half human vampire hunter, who is hired to protect Dolores, who is being hunted by the local vampire king. That feels like the wrong word, but for this book, I listened to it and read it at the same time, like you did in elementary school, and I had fun. When reading it and listening to it, I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a very immersive experience. I could hear the sound effects, the different voices. It was pretty fun. I really enjoyed the drawings in this book. They were beautiful. Let me show you one. Like, this one is my favorite. I think it's beautiful and super cool. Outside of that, I thought the book was fine. I sadly feel very indifferent about it. I wanted to like it because I was reading it with my mother-in-law, but I was very indifferent about it. I'm glad I got to read it because it was a cool story, but it was fine. Now, moving on to the books that I did not finish. The first book that I did not finish was A Winter's Promise. This is by Christelle de Bajo. This is a fantasy. I stopped reading this 75% of the way in. Honestly, I don't know why I stopped. I probably should have just pushed through, but I couldn't. In this book, we follow Ophelia, who has the power to read objects. She is forced into an arranged marriage with Thorn, a member from another arc. Ophelia finds herself in the middle of a political game. My thoughts on this book. This is a slow burn, slow build, slow world building. It is a very slow book, which is great for some people. I read online that a lot of people loved this book. It has a very special place in their heart. However, most of them did admit that it is a very slow book. I'm going to be honest, I do not have the attention span for books like that. Maybe I'll try it again at a different time in my life because I want to know why people love it so much and I feel like I'm missing out on something, but I just lost interest. The next book that I did not finish was The Black Prism. This is by Brent Weeks. This is a fantasy. I stopped reading this book 65% of the way in. In this book, we are thrown into a world that the magic is based on color. Many specialize in one or two colors, while the prism specializes in all of the colors. We follow the prism, Gavin, who discovers he has a son he is not aware of. Now he must protect his son and his secrets while he navigates this political climate. I really enjoyed this book. I loved the magic. I think I loved the magic because I have the autism where I can see the colors, so it scratched my brain right well. The only reason why I stopped reading this book is because I could not get over the fat shaming. I thought I could push past it because it was only passing comments. However, there was a point in the book where they were going to starve the child to get him to learn things, and I did not like that. Which sucks because I really was enjoying this book, but that did make me very uncomfortable. Alrighty, so my favorite book for the entire season was definitely the Black Holocaust. I learned a lot from it. Thank you. Those are my spring reads. I feel like the season was pretty underwhelming. It was definitely not as fun and out there as my winter reads were, but you win some, you lose some. I'm really hoping that summer is better, so I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Devious. Wendy Darling. Wendy Darling. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Do we have the correct pronunciation of your name?
I don't know.